Bellini's in, Bellini's in. Hello, boys. Da-da-da-da. Waiting. Here he is.
Hey, you alright?
I'm good, mate. You alright?
I am. I'm amazed I did it. I connected properly straight away.
You did, I know. The first time I got requested in, I was like, I don't really know what to press. Oh, well, I literally just press that and I've talk.
And away we go.
How you doing, mate? You alright?
I'm good, mate. It's got to the end of the first half of term of homeschooling.
Oh, yeah, because it's half term next week, isn't it?
It is. It is, mate.
You look like sometimes you look like you're tearing your hair out on your...
Well, I'm trying to show our products, but I've got red wine in it.
I'm double controlling and shifting.
That's good.
This has only got water in, but a milky brew's coming in a minute.
No, a nice mug of red wine was what I needed.
a mug of wine. That's ticking the boxes for lockdown.
That's how I roll at the end of.
Yeah. Yes, kids. No, you can't have a sip of Daddy's tea, darling. No,
exactly.
This is mine.
Exactly. No, that's hot. That's hot. Don't touch that.
How you doing, man? You all good?
Yeah, no, I'm all right, man. I'm all right.
Thanks for agreeing to come on my Spudcast. Do you see what I did there?
Yeah, I did see what you did there. Yeah, very good.
Mate, it's more than anything. It's something to do. I thought I like a chat, as you well know.
I do.
I like a bit of Insta. I like catching up with my mates. So this, for me, ticks all the boxes. So I just thought, why not? I messaged a bunch of people, and everyone said, "Yeah, I'll come on and have a chat with you." So I was like, "Brilliant!" So I've got about 10 people lined up for some little Insta lives.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good.
I know. I've got some questions.
Oh, look at you, like a news reporter.
Which we'll get into in a minute. First of all,
yeah.
I've already welcomed you. I was going to about to do that again. Do you want to quickly introduce yourself and say what it is that you do?
Okay, fine. So my name's Jonathan, and I am one half of the founders of ctrl+shift, which is a website that sells merch on behalf of a number of car YouTubers. So started with a gentleman called Joe Achilles. Some people may have heard of him.
I've heard of him, yeah.
He's 6'4", and yeah, apparently. And me and Joe have been friends 25 years.
Wow.
We were at school together, and basically, nearly 2 years ago since we launched, and I suppose about 2.5 years ago since we started to work on it. But yeah, we decided to start a website, which we did, and then people liked it, and so then we started signing up other YouTubers, and yeah, now that's what I do. I run that.
So you started doing the clothing stuff first, and then did a website, and then got other people on board.
Yeah. So originally it was just something for Joe. It was just something that me and Joe were going to do as a little sort of, little side hustle. And the funny thing is, the clothing side of things, that was never part of the original plan. So okay. The original plan was to just have an eclectic shop of things related to cars, but to basically fill the website when we first wanted to launch, we made a load of t-shirts, and then the t-shirts were the most popular thing. And so we thought, well,
what else were you going to do?
Well, we thought we'd be selling detailing stuff. We thought we'd be selling, ultimately what the plan was whenever Joe reviewed something that he thought was great, we were going to buy some up and we were going to sell it. So rather than, get paid just to say in a video, "Oh, I really like this thing," if Joe actually saw something and was like, "Oh no, I really like this thing,"
yeah,
it was
you
like,
can
right,
buy this.
We'll buy it, and then we'll put it on the website. But because we hadn't got going yet, we thought, we'll just make some t-shirts, and we didn't make any hoodies. And then, but we made some for me and Joe just so we look professional. And then everyone kept emailing, "Where's the hoodie? Where's the hoodie? Where's the hoodie?" So I was like, "All right, better make some hoodies." And basically the sort of the clothing and the stickers and mugs and all these little things just proved to be popular. And so a year into it, there was enough traffic to the site and stuff just coming from, just Joe and our Insta, that we opened it up to other YouTubers, and now we work with lots of people now.
Yeah, you've got loads on there.
Yeah.
So you were doing control and shift and something else.
Yeah. So.
You still are?
No. So now I'm like basically full in on control and shift. So two and a half years ago, I was working for a local government, and obviously Joe was doing his stuff, and then I don't know, about 6 months into control and shift, I still remember I quit my job, and I called Joe and I left him a voicemail, and I said, mate, I know we haven't discussed this, but I've quit.
You better start plugging them t-shirts.
but I've quit my job and I'm all in. So I do a little bit of consultancy work, just to pay bills. But yeah, no, pretty much my focus is sort of trying to grow control and shift as best as humanly possible, basically.
Yeah. I'm sorry about the background noise. I've come into the conservatory because it's normally the quietest place in the house, although it's the most cold. But I've got the dog is now decided to come out and start eating some leftover crunchy dog biscuits, which is dropping on the floor. And the rabbit, since it got really cold, we brought the rabbit inside as well, and she's going absolutely. My missus has just joined. Love, get down here wherever you are and come and retrieve whatever the rabbit's chasing around our runs, making a right old racket.
My dog will probably at some point scratch on the door, because although he'll have the whole house to roam in, he'll just want to know what's behind the closed door. So don't worry.
So lockdown. How's lockdown affected you? Because obviously normally you're making t-shirts and doing bits and bobs. That doesn't really stop you going out and about. But obviously you've had to do. Yeah, I mean, what are you doing about homeschooling as well?
Yeah, it's been. I'll be honest. Like, what no one would do in their right mind is start a new business, quit their job, and then enter into a pandemic. So I'd say it's not been the easiest year.
Sure.
Thankfully, we work with a couple of guys who are great, and they've been able to keep supporting us. To be honest, we've just kept going. Like that's all we can do. Customers are understanding if things take a little bit longer. I'd say the worst thing we've had to deal with through the pandemic is postal shipping. Like, shipping's been brutal. We've lost so many parcels through Royal Mail, and had to
everyone's buying stuff for delivery, and everything's getting the postal service got mass.
Postal services was creaking anyway, and then everyone's shopping from home. Plus, obviously, they're dealing with their own COVID measurements and whatever. So, I get it, but probably the biggest thing that we've had to deal with through the lockdowns and everything is just shipping. It's just been hard work. It's been really hard work. Keep chasing it up. And
right, can you grab the rabbits, whatever the rabbit's eating, because she's chasing it around a run. It's making a right old racket.
She's trying to get a dog biscuit.
Rolini bought a hoodie last March, still waiting on delivery.
Tell him I can't get one small enough.
He doesn't. There's no child sizes on the website
yet. XS kids are still out of stock.
XXX.
I don't mean that, really. I love you the most.
We love him the most. He must struggle though, because he's quite small, but he's got massive guns.
He does. Yeah, we have to have his specially made.
Specially made.
But in truth, people Rolini's a great. People who have been supporters of us from the beginning supported us really well through the pandemic. So
yeah,
I can't complain. The loyalty to us has been mega, and we kept going. And even though the year was as it was, Christmas we were over 230% up. So
wow,
the response is still strong. Ped has a lot of very loyal fans as well. So
is he the main killer? Is he?
Ped's the man. I tell you, his crew love him. We put those new updated T-shirts up this week, and
Yeah.
This afternoon, me and Steph tag team, my wife Steph, so she did the morning, then looked after kids this afternoon, and I actually went to the printers and printed. Mate, all I printed was Ped t-shirts.
Smashed it.
Yeah.
He's loved it. Oh, good for him, man.
I know.
Couldn't
Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke.
Yeah, I remember last time we met, you said you'd sent like a 200 quid order out to the States or something, and just loved it.
Yeah. Ped stuff goes all over the world. I mean, that's the fun thing. We ship all over the world. I've just sent a massive package to New Zealand. So yeah,
mega.
That is, yeah, it's mega. I reckon probably 30% of our stuff goes international.
Really?
Yeah, which is fun, and it's like nice to see all the different parts of the.
Yeah, it's cool that it's going out.
Yeah. I think Taiwan's probably the most unusual one that we've sent to so far, but it goes all over the world.
Oh, that's cool, man. Oh, that's super cool. Super cool. What have let's have a look on my list. I was just trying to think when we first met, and I've got down the Joe's go-karting thing.
Daytona.
That's when we met.
Daytona.
Yeah,
when I broke my ribs.
Mate, that's the first time I've ever driven those super fast karts. I think 14 horsepower is the fastest I've driven before that. The ones that we used to have at Goodwood were like 6 horsepower, and then these were like 24 horsepower. Yeah. And I was like, I pulled out of the pits and just had my foot flat to the floor, and it just kept pulling. And I got to the point where I went, "Oh, I'm going fairly quick," and it wasn't done with yet, and it was still going. I was like, "Oh, good grief!" Yeah, that was a bit fun. But yeah, those, because what were they, two strokes?
Yeah. Went home with broken ribs. It was not the. It was not.
You actually had broken ribs.
Yeah. On the last race, on the last corner, and me and Pat came together. I went wide, but he was desperate to get past Joe, I think, and he went a bit too fast to the side of me. And
oh no!
Yeah, if anyone's got still the old picture of us stood outside the end, I am so white because I literally I was like going into shock.
Pain.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah. So I think that's the first time we met, and then we've obviously met up at a few things since, and then the last time I think we were together was the Goodwood.
Because you came out in my little Honda.
I did, yeah, right at the end of the day.
Right at the end, yeah, I've gone and blagged the last session of the day. I was like, sometimes on a Goodwood day, it's a bit, depending on who's there, it gets to like 3-4 o'clock and everyone's gone home. And I was like, the last session was lining up and there was about 3 cars in the pit lane. And I legged it in the office. I was like, Gabriel, how do I get on this last session? He went, it's not going to happen. You haven't noise tested your car. I said, it's 84 decibels. He went, have you had a briefing? I said, I've done about 30 track days in, mate. Is the briefing still the same? He went, yeah, all right then, there you go. Give me some money. Go. So we went out in a stone cold car, stone cold tyres. But I just wanted to get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got around. It took us about 5 laps to get some heat in the engine, which time it was time to come in. But I just love going out on track, man. And it's great to not have to worry about. I do worry about my car, but it's not. I mean, I don't have to worry about track day insurance, and I can literally just rock up and go. I think I've jumped on about 3 or 4 different track days where I've turned up to go and watch, and someone's gone home early or their car's died or whatever, and they said, "Do you want to take my spot?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I literally just jumped on, like, check the tyre pressures, and away you go. It's full send. My little full send Honda every day, full send. She loves it, mate. She loves it. I don't even know what car you've got.
Oh mate, well, see, because this is where it all goes downhill, isn't it? When we start talking about cars, because I am like, I have a proper car to cart the kids around to football, swimming, and everything else. So I drive around in a Discovery Sport.
That's all right.
No, it's not, mate.
I bet Joe's not happy about that. Me and him are not JLR fans.
Well, the thing was, to be fair, actually, the last car, Joe sorted me out. Because usually what happens is I call Joe and I say, I've seen the car at a price. Because that's usually how I buy my car, right? It's a good price, right? So I'm like, okay, that's how I buy my car. And but the last car actually was a 5 Series. And that was, I was looking at the time to get a new car. I was looking to get a new car. I think Steph was pregnant with Catherine, our third one. And so I was looking for something that could do, be a bit bigger or whatever. And then and I was looking at the 2 Series, right? Because they just brought out this 2 Series, and it was like there were some deals on it and whatever. And I was like, Joe, I think I'm going to buy a 2 Series. And he was like, buy a 5 Series. And I was like, well, no, like there's a budget element to this. And he said, oh no, 5 Series is changing. Like they're changing. So to be honest, mate, no one's buying a 5 Series right now. So if you get in there and order one. And so I did, and I got a great deal. Shout out to Sitner High Wycombe, and no ad, and so that was so that was good. And then I had that for a few years, but then I needed a 7-seater, mate. I was just like taking the kids everywhere, so I was looking, and like lots of people were like, "I'll get another BMW and all this," but the price was like insane for what I couldn't do it, and so I got a Discovery Sport, and like it's equally the best car and the worst car I've ever owned. It's the worst car because a lot of it doesn't work properly, but
really,
oh mate, like I know this is a really stupid thing to care about, right? But on the infotainment system, it's basically like a 2006 Kindle, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
2006 Kindle.
That's what it's like, mate. That is what it's like. And the thing that bothers me the most is it's still, when you put your iPhone in, it calls it an iPod. An iPod. Like, come on.
How old's the car? What year's the car?
Mate, I only got it like 2 years ago.
It's 2019 car, 2018.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's a 2019 with a Kindle that thinks it's an iPod. So there's certain things about it that are just so terrible, and it has been to the garage twice, and all of this. The flip to that is, it can go anywhere. The kids can fill it up. Like it's actually pretty comfortable to be in. Like there's so much about it that actually it's quite nice.
It's mega. But I didn't realise I didn't realise the Discovery Sport was a 7-seater.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, and I tell you what, we've used that.
This is not a big. It's not the van Discovery. It's Discovery Sport. Like, it's like the same as the F Pace.
Yeah, right. It's about that size, but yeah, it's not. It's not. There's no boot space once you've got the seats up. You can put a carry bag with 2 tins in it, But actually, no, you can. My kids, my younger ones go in the back easily. So I've got an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old that, they love being in the back of it. But we took it through France and Spain, and it was pucker.
Is it ever like not worked? Like you've gone in, pressed the button, and it hasn't started?
No, it's never not worked.
Because that's my definition of a breakdown. If something physically won't move under its own. Hello, Dan. And Gary, everyone's waving. If something doesn't physically move under its own steam, then it's like that's actually broken down. But for little things a warning light or something like that, you can almost get away with.
You get plenty of warning lights, but for a 2-year-old car. But no, it's never.
Where my guy had the Christmas. Where my car had the Christmas lights on the outside, yours had the Christmas lights on the inside. That's
right, yeah. It's very festive, my car, but it's festive all year long.
Just for you.
My favourite, actually, was it came with a red warning light. So we've had warning lights, but then it came with a red one. And so I called Land Rover and I said, it's got a red light. And she said, well, what's it say? And I can't even remember what it said now. And I said, that's what it says. And she said, well, you can't drive it. It's got a red light. I said, okay, that's fine, no problems. Can I book it in? She said, yep, hang on. Look, I'll give you a date. 5 weeks? I said, 5 weeks? I said, but you're telling me I can't drive it? And she said, oh, I'm sorry, that's the earliest we can get you in. And the reason for that is because everyone else with their red lights was booked in before me.
Mate, that's fine. You drove the car around.
I drove it. It was fine. It kept going.
It was all right.
To be fair, I think the sensor was the problem, so it was fine. It was fine. But
I've driven a bunch of Discovery Sports and a bunch of F Paces as well. My biggest gripe, I don't know if yours does it, is the start-stop button. Yeah. I don't know if it was just this batch of cars, but the click on the button activated before it actually made the contact to start it. Does yours do that?
Oh no, I haven't noticed that. The two things that are particularly weird about mine.
If you quickly tap it or click it, it doesn't actually start the car. You've kind of beaten the starter.
Oh no,
it's a bit of a weird one.
Mine doesn't do that. The two worst things are one, the boot. So one, it doesn't open big enough for such a big car, and also the foot sensor underneath. Yeah, you can waggle your foot under that all you want, mate. It's not opening. When I'm out there getting stuff out the boot and the dog runs out, it just closes.
It will shut.
Mate, that thing has hit me in the back of the head 50 times.
Right? Yeah. I had that as well.
Yeah, and then the other thing...
It closed on your back, and then come up, and then close on your back, and then come up again. You're like, go away!
Yeah, please stop now. And the dog's just staring at me like, oh, I've done it again. And then the other thing is, there's obviously some sort of like smart setting to do with when it knows that you've stopped and you've unclipped your belt, that sometimes it turns the car off before you press the button. But sometimes it doesn't. And so what'll happen sometimes is I'll stop the car and I'll put it in park and I'll turn back and it'll turn the car off. But then I'll turn the car back on because I wasn't.
Yeah, because you didn't realise it switched off.
Ready for it to turn itself off. And then I get out of the car and the missus says, you've left the car on. And I'm like, what? But sometimes it does it, sometimes not. It's probably just a fault, but...
that's weird.
Yeah, it is a weird.
Maybe it's just intermittently breaking down. It hasn't just switched itself off.
The red light is just shutting it down. But yeah, so that's my current car. But my claim to fame is actually that years ago I bought a Hyundai iX35 as a little family car, right, which is now called Tucson. And Joe was like, and Joe was like, don't buy that car. Don't buy a Hyundai. You don't want to buy a Hyundai. And I was like, mate, I've driven it. I really like it. And I'm not a car guy. So and I was like, mate, no, it's really, really good. And then me and Joe used to drive the London Fashion Week. I don't know how many people know that, but me and Joe used to drive the models around the shows and the fittings and stuff. And one year they had the Santa Fe's to drive them around. The year I got my car. And Joe was like, I'll take it all back. These cars are brilliant. They're brilliant. And I was like, right, that's my one and only time I got karting right instead of Joe. only time, but I'm taking it.
Against Joe's wishes, you got yourself a Hyundai and then he changed his mind.
Yeah. And that was a wicked little car. I did like that car.
Before we get into the questions, I've got a couple of little notes because we've had a little bit of a back and forth this week. Already talked about the karting. I'd bring back the karting again because I did a video there for my YouTube channel, plug my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And when I was watching back through the footage, I noticed that the two massive offs that I had were both involving the same kart number, which then when I looked at the sheet, it was you.
No, I don't know anything about that.
To be fair, it was mainly you avoiding somebody else and then spinning out, and then me avoiding driving flat out into you.
That did happen a lot.
And then I ended up in the tyres.
I did lose out a lot from getting out of other people's crashes. And I'd also like to say, if Daytona ever see this, that they do not enforce the yellow flag. Loads of times you slow down and people just go past you. That's outrageous.
And also, they dug me out of the tyres. I was then sat there, which you shouldn't do. And I know I used to work on the go-karts that you could do. I know you're not supposed to do it. But it was the start of the race. I was trying to wheel myself out of the tyres.
I remember that, yeah.
Matey came and dug me out of the tyres. I'm already sat in the tyres waiting for Matey to come out. Next time around, I get a black flag. And I'm like, surely that's not for me. And I've come in the thing, and he went, all right, mate, just called you in there because you're not supposed to wheel yourself out of tyres. I'm like, I know. Matey that pulled me out of the tyres told me that. Now you've pulled... my race is done, but thanks for calling me in.
Just to
thanks for calling me in and telling me that again.
Yeah.
Stitched me right up. You were saying about you put up a thing on your... I think Joe put up something on his Instagram because he was... drop my pen. He was having a moan that a load of people were moaning about him plugging control and shift. And you said that does get right up your nose because it's YouTube's free. It's free to watch.
Yeah.
You watch ITV, you watch a program on ITV, and they interrupt you with umpteen different adverts of people that have paid a lot of money, and you watch Netflix and there's adverts all over that and whatever. Yeah. And then YouTubers pay. Well, go on, you carry on.
Yeah, no. I just we messaged about this week because it just rolls me up. Like people will pay for their Netflix subscription, they'll pay for their Sky, they'll pay for their Amazon, they'll pay for all of these things. But there's an expectation that YouTube should be free, that the content should be excellent, that they should get at least 2 videos a week. They should get all of this. And then, everyone we work with, you'll see these comments of, oh, I used to like your channel, but now all you do is plug merch. No, actually what these guys are trying to do is make more content, which apparently you love.
Yeah.
But to be able to do that, when the average video takes, right? The average video take a day of filming and then 2 days of editing, right?
Yeah.
How Ped knocks out 3 videos a week is literally beyond me. I'm assuming he doesn't sleep. And
yeah, he's a machine.
He's a machine, right? And I get to interact with a lot of these guys. I get to see the mental amount of work that they do. I get to get emails from people at 2:00 in the morning that says, sorry, I meant to come back to you earlier. I've just finished my edit. And to see sort of these comments of people going, oh, you're pushing your merch. And it's like, yeah, you got to get real. You got to get real. And if you don't want to see the merch, if you don't want to see people, then, what's it called, Patron or whatever. So, donate if you love the content. Do that. But the whole point of doing the merch was, I'm not going to ask you for money. I'm going to give you something for money. You get the content, and you get a good t-shirt or a good hoodie or whatever.
Yeah. If I've got to do a 30-second plug for something, then
and also,
just
it ain't 30 seconds, is it? I mean, watch most of Joe's videos.
Well, not even that. No.
Probably, Joe probably talks about it 1 in 6, 7, 8 videos, right? He probably talks about it for 10 seconds, right? For the amount of time and effort that he puts into his content, I just lose the will to live sometimes when people are like, oh, you shouldn't be pushing merch.
Yeah.
It's like, you've got to get realistic about how expensive it is to do. And, and I know people are, oh, yeah, people get given these nice cars. Yeah, which these guys are going to fill up the tank multiple times to go and get some good content produced.
Yeah.
They've got to pay for, how much the equipment is. It's not cheap stuff. Then one falls off the side of the car, and then it's another 500 quid to replace it.
GoPro that you can't find, and you've lost all the footage off of that, so you've got to go and film that bit again.
Exactly. I just get frustrated.
It's just armchair experts that they, and it's the same with anything that you do. There's always someone looking over the fence at what somebody else is doing and going, well, that's easy, or why don't you do this, or why don't you do that? And I, having done a few YouTube videos in the last year, I would encourage anyone that watches YouTube just to go out and make one video. Yeah. Have an idea for a video, go out and film it, go out and edit it, and then put it on YouTube. And you will have just so much more appreciation for the guys that do it properly, because there's just so much effort that goes into it. And then after you've done all the effort, and I'm still at this stage, after you do all the effort of making a video, you put it up online and it gets like 30 views and then stops, and you go, oh. And then 2 days later, you're like, I want to make another video. I've got an idea. For me, it's just an outlet for my creativity at the moment. I'm not really bothered about, I am bothered about the views, but it's like, it's an outlet for my creativity. I'm just like, I just want to make another video. I've got nothing to do. I'm like, let's make a video and do some Instagram lives, and that's my life.
No, but that's good. Like, I think people, people look at people like Joe and Ped and stuff now, and the sort of numbers of their subscribers and stuff like that. But you've got to remember, a lot of these people have been doing this for 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons when we started ctrl+shift to expand out to other people. People like Car Mad Dad. Dale at Car Mad Dad. He's just such a nice guy. Such a nice guy. And at the end of the day, he does really good quality stuff, and he's trying to get off the ground. And I'll be straight up. I approached him and I was like, mate, like, let's work together. Let's put. And he was like, oh, I'm just. I'm a small channel. I'm honest, and I was like, let's just try. Like, let's just try, because it's exciting to do stuff with Car Wow and Love Cars, these big channels like that. It's exciting. I'm not going to lie, I get excited about that. But mate, when I see orders coming in for Car Mad Dad, and I know what benefit that's going to have to his journey, and you know what, it's probably still going to take him 4 or 5 years. But maybe it won't take him 7 years. Well, then let the guy say, if you like my stuff, you can buy a T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. The beauty of Car Mad Dad as well is that that's like the name of his channel, but also anyone can wear it because it's just like you're a Car Mad Dad.
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's a bit of a double meaning.
Yeah.
Road Race Rally, Car Mad Dad stuff is mega. There you go. Go and buy some Car Mad Dad. Let me just have a sip out of my ctrl+shift mug. That's where my ctrl+shift. Maybe one day I'd say one day I could have my range of t-shirts, but I don't know what I'd have on them. No one wants a picture of a potato wearing glasses or something. I don't know.
It could be the future. I tell you.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
You never know what's going to sell on a t-shirt, mate. I tell you.
You never know.
We've talking like that with Car Mad Dad. We when we got started, we did some designs for him, and we did one, and you know he was straight. He was like that's not the type of t-shirt I would wear. And I said, oh, yeah, I understand that. I said, but like, you know, some people would wear that type of t-shirt. And
Nick's going to wear a t-shirt with a potato wearing glasses on it. Cheers, bud.
Perfect. I'll get that printed. And so I made him this t-shirt up, and I said, let's just put it, you know, we make t-shirts to order. So I don't know if people fully understand that, but every order that comes in, we print it, we check it, we sign it off, and we ship it out. So there's no, you know, we're not banging out loads of teas that end up going somewhere else or anything like that. We literally sign off every single one individually. But what that means for people like Car Mad Dad is he doesn't have to buy 300 t-shirts, right? We buy all the t-shirts and then we print the t-shirts to go out. And yes, we made this t-shirt up, and he said, oh, I'm not sure. Anyway, it turned out to be a great seller, right? Like you just don't, you know, you don't know. You know how people react to different things, and the great thing is that's why we try different things. And I'll be honest, we've done some stuff and it's just not worked at all, and then we've done some stuff that's worked better than we thought. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's definitely what the YouTube guys say as well. You really plan a film and think this is going to go mega, and it does nothing, and then another video like a couple of Joe's like one takes. He's just gone, I'll film this in. Do you know what I mean? I've had one car for like 3 days. I've done 2 days of filming, 2-day edit. It's done nothing. This one I filmed in an hour, bashed it out. It's done 4 times as many views, and you just go, but you don't know what's gonna work.
No, mate, that's like our 2 best-selling t-shirts still remain. I Pity the Fuel and Breaking Bad, and
isn't that funny?
Those were done literally, I think, over a beer when we were like, we need to put something onto a t-shirt. And I was like, what about this? What about this? Joe was like, mate, that's funny. Let's put that on a t-shirt. And I mean, we had to, once we moved away from vinyl printing, which is how we started, vinyl printing onto tees, and then we moved into, actually got a direct garment printer.
I was about to say, is that direct garment? Okay.
Yeah, and that's what we do now. So, which obviously allows us to do many more things, but we had to update that t-shirt. Like, we had to do an updated Breaking Bad, an updated Pity the Fuel, because we couldn't dare not offer them. Like, people loved them. So,
and they're still good sellers.
Yeah, and we sell them as stickers now and everything. So, yeah, it's you just never know what's going to work. So maybe the Spud tee will be there.
Spud tee. I think instead of potato, everyone calls Boris potato in a wig. Maybe we could have potato in a crash helmet.
Maybe.
I'm rolling ideas now. Potato, these glasses, my open-faced crash helmet. Ooh. I'll sketch.
You're going to be sketching later.
I'll sketch some ideas and send them over. To be honest, I've got a couple of ideas. My mate Dan up the road, he borrowed a t-shirt printer because he does some like stickers and stuff for me as well, and he printed a few. I just bought some cheapy. do it, yes, do it. Here we go. We've got some potato and a crash helmet t-shirts on their way. I have got a couple of t-shirt ideas, but we can at the moment we can only do like text, like all with so I need to find some sort of graphic designer.
Yeah,
do you do graphic design?
Yeah, we have a designer. Yeah, we can send your stuff my way.
Ideas.
Yeah,
I'm going to sketch some ideas and send them over after this and after my tea. Talking of business, this gets us nicely onto this. Talking of business, we were having a back and forth this week about Mr. JWW because that's all gone a bit pear-shaped. I don't want to get too political about it.
No.
And I'm pretty sure we're on the same page. If people put a business deal to somebody else, it's nobody's business.
100%.
Regardless of whether it's true, regardless of whether I still think it's in question. He came out and said that he's never spoken to Litchfield. Whether his management team have spoken to Litchfield about it remains to be seen. But regardless, it's none of anyone's. He might be the nicest bloke in the world or the biggest idiot. I don't think it's right that came out, and I just think if just from all round, I think it's unprofessional.
100% agree with you. I just think
as a businessman, I think no, hang on. Yeah. That would make me then think twice about dealing with them. If I was on the fence about dealing with them, I just think.
I just think the whole thing stinks. If I'm honest, I don't. Let me be clear. I've never met JWW. I don't know him. I don't. To be honest, I don't care if he's a good guy or a bad guy. Like at the end of the day, he pays money apparently to an agency or whatever whose job it is to try and strike deals. We've had people approach us that have asked us to do stuff that didn't make sense, and you know what we've done? We've said no, and then we've all moved on. Like it just I find the whole thing. I just find the whole thing distasteful. I think at the end of the day, I did watch the Collecting Cars podcast where Chris Harris was on there talking. I thought the things that stood out for me was one, when I saw that tweet from Chris Harris, because I do follow him, and I thought that's a bit of an angry tweet. Like what he's done is he's earned something, and he's just thrown it out there. And in hindsight, hopefully he's going to think to himself, well, probably I shouldn't have done that, right? Because also, what you could have said is an influencer asked for this. The fact that you're calling out the car and all of that, you're narrowing it down massively.
People go put two and two together in a very short amount of time and work that out.
And it was a couple of hours, right? So my first thing was like, he's angry tweeted, and that's a bad idea, right? He himself says in the podcast, I checked with Litchfield if they were happy for me to send this tweet out. They said they were, so I did. Well, hang on a minute, I've angry tweeted, but if I give myself time to calm down, then I think to myself, that's probably inappropriate. Maybe I'm bordering on bullying. Maybe I'm being a bit of an idiot. Whatever I think to myself, and then I wouldn't do it. But the fact that he gave himself the time and then still sent it out just feels wrong. What should have happened was they should have just said no. I saw James's apology as well, and to be honest, my only frustration around it was, I didn't particularly. I think he should have avoided the sort of, I pay these people to go out and make deals, and I don't think he should apologise for that. Like at the end of the day. If you said to me this week, you said, "Oh mate, can you come on the Spudcast and have a chat?" And I went, "Oh yeah, no problems, mate. It'll be £500 and blah blah blah." And you turned around to me and said, "No." Well, that's how it would work, right? And what you wouldn't expect then is to very publicly, try and just do someone like that. My feeling on this, and I may be off the mark, and there's car people that will watch this, and maybe they'll feel differently to me because, like I said, it's not my background, but it reminds me a lot of like the great footballers of the 1970s and 80s, right? They were the people that were setting the standard for what is today, and they were earning very little money because they were at the forefront of what became the Premier League, and now players are getting paid £1 million a week or whatever it is, right? Yeah. And I could understand why those players from the 70s and 80s, or even the 90s, the early Premier League, would be thinking to themselves, those bastards, like they are making the money off of ultimately the groundwork I did. And a little bit, I wonder if Chris feels like that. I wonder if he feels like, he truly was one of the birthers of what it's now become.
And we know he's not a fan of the influence because he says it all the time. But
but it was funny in that Collecting Cars thing because he's saying about influencers and YouTube and all of this, and I'm sat on YouTube watching him talk about it, and whilst he's talking, it fades out to a bloody Collecting Cars advert. edited this? Like, who's edited this? You must have not missed the irony in him saying, "Oh, it just makes me sick." It's all about product placement and blah blah blah, and then it literally the screen faded away to collecting cars, and I was like, "Mate, like, can someone have a word with himself?" So I just think he was wrong done by it. Look, if he asked for that, or if his agents or whatever asked for that sort of money, that was probably silly. But at the end of the day, if you've got a business, it's your choice. If Tesco's decide tomorrow they want to start charging £1,000 for a packet of sausages, that's their choice. Doesn't mean anyone's going to buy it.
No, don't buy them. Easy.
And I just think the weird thing for me is I think that Litchfield have managed to get themselves a huge amount of publicity off the back of saying we don't like people telling us that we should pay for publicity.
Yes,
it just feels weird.
Arguably good publicity.
Well, what they've had now, I think it's a mixed bag, right? I mean, I saw lots of really quite aggressive comments directed at James on social media. I'll be honest, I didn't even follow James before this. It wasn't on my radar, so to speak. But I did go and have a look, and I just thought this ain't right. Like, if someone's trying to run a business and they make a business proposal that is not great, then it's not great, and then we all move on from it. But I for me, it was bordering on sort of cyberbullying to do that to the guy.
It was. I think it was.
Yeah. So not to linger on it, but it just that was another example for me where sometimes the internet goes wrong, and for me that was someone with a really big reach who had an opportunity to really do something quite negative, and had the time to check their mind and decide if they were going to do it, and still went ahead and did it. And that for me doesn't feel right.
No, and I think you're right. And also I know I watched last year, Chris done a mega interview with Johnny Smith, really great chat, and he was saying about the abuse that he'd got from doing the Top Gear and still gets from taking over Top Gear. I think new Top Gear is brilliant, the one with Paddy and Freddie. I think it's hilarious. It looks like three mates having a laugh, but he said the amount of abuse he got over it, and he had to go and see someone, yet he still throw somebody else under the bus,
dishing it out.
And I just don't think, to me, it just didn't sit right, and I just thought it was a bit.
No, I agree with you.
I didn't think it was right. Anyway, we are just looking at the time, 40 minutes. So you thought we might struggle for something to talk about. I haven't even got to my questions yet. We're having a right old ramble. Right, now we've had too much. Now we've had too much of a ramble because we can't go over an hour because, who'd have thought I'd be trying to wrap it up after an hour? And my mate I chatted with the other day, I was looking at the clock going, Instagram are going to cut us off at an hour. We've got to wrap this up. So let's get on to, I've done some quick Q&As because I also don't know the answers to these as well. So it's a bit of I'm trying to get to know you a bit as well.
Okay.
Are you a tea or coffee man?
Oh, wow. Do you know what? In the last... I'd say what I take from lockdown is I've turned into a coffee man. So I've always been more of a tea man. And actually, a bit of a Joe story here, but me and my wife, she buys herbal teas, right? And the number of times Joe used to come around my house and be like, "Can I have a cup of tea?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, mate, peppermint, green." And he'd be like, "No, just a cup of tea." I'd be like, "Yeah, I can't give you that." And so she started to buy normal tea bags just for when Joe came round. But this lockdown, actually, I've got to be honest, I think just the homeschooling and everything else, I've started to really appreciate a nice cup of coffee. Yeah.
Nice cup of coffee.
Yeah. Not the wine in the mug, but actual coffee.
Actual coffee. That's funny. What are you, dogs or cats?
Dogs. We have a French bulldog called Heston. He's immense. Yeah. He's my fourth child and my favourite one. And I did have a cat years ago. But I don't really understand people. But no disrespect to people, but like they're so aloof.
Yeah, we had a cat off the farm. It went a bit mad and just started. 1 minute it'd be purring. You'd hold it up and it'd be purring. The next minute its tail it start flicking for literally like a second, and you go and it'd stick its teeth in your arm.
Yeah.
I'll stop cuddling it shortly after that. Favourite flavour I haven't been drinking. There's no wine in my mind. Favourite flavour, crisps.
Okay, the jalapeno and cheese Walker's beer crisps.
Ooh, Walker's beer crisps.
They're they're crisps designed to have with beer.
Oh, they haven't got beer in them.
No. They're designed to have with a nice cold beer.
When you described it, I was like, I thought the flavour was jalapeno, cheese, and beer.
That would be amazing, but no, mate. They're so good. They're so good. The problem is I think they only come in big bags, and somehow the ones in our house disappear very, very quickly.
You've got to smash a bag out.
I love them, mate. They're so bad. But yeah. Jalapeno and cheese, seriously. If you've not tried them, I think they call them the beer crisps, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Oh, Nate saying hi. Hi, Nate. Favourite chocolate bar?
Oh, that's a good question. Favourite I'm more of a savoury than sweet, but probably I'd have to go like old school, mate, like a Whisper or something. Like
a Whisper?
Yeah.
Comrade Dad's joined. We were just talking about you earlier, mate.
We were just talking about you.
You'll have to watch it back. If I press the right buttons when I finish this, I'll save it on my IGTV and you can watch it back. You'll have to watch the whole thing to find out what we said about you.
Honestly, there was nothing.
Honestly, what Jonathan said about you, mate, was shocking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Take it back.
Favourite, because it's a Spudcast, favourite potato dish? Or the favourite way to have potatoes, not crisps?
Well, I mean, my favourite way to have a potato is obviously a roasty, but goose fat roast.
Goose fat roasty. That is hard to beat.
Yeah, but if I was going to have it in a dish, then maybe like a shepherd's pie.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean dish. I meant just like I put favourite way to eat potatoes. Like it's like
goose fat roasty. It's got to be all
goose fat roasty.
Yeah,
that's a good shout. My missus don't do them that often. You can't tell by the size of my cheeks she don't do them that often. But she needs to do them more.
Mate, I did carb-free January. Through homeschooling, which is why I look like I'm nearly killed myself. But mate, doing a Sunday roast for the kids and then getting Yorkshires and their potatoes and me just having veg. It was brutal. Couldn't even have a carrot.
What, carbs and carrots?
Yeah.
What?
Mate, I was just eating like broccoli.
I don't like carrots anyway.
Spinach but no potatoes.
Parsnips was sweet call for me. Ooh. Which brings me nicely onto my next question. Favourite veg with a roast?
Favourite veg with a roast? Not a parsnip. They're disgusting. Sorry, mate.
Oh, not a parsnip. They've got to be done right, though.
I can't even eat the potatoes if they've been cooked in the tray with the parsnips.
Oh, come on.
I'm not having it. No, I'm not having it. It's not right. I mean, I'd say the roast potato, to be honest. Like, that's the most important thing. But if I wasn't going to have that...
Well, yeah. Sort of a veg.
Cauliflower cheese.
That's a good shout. Cauliflower cheese is a good shout.
I love a cauli cheese with my roast.
Arguably not really a veg because you cover anything once you've covered it in cheese.
It's still a veg underneath.
That is true. That is true. Favourite biscuit?
Just like a chocolate digestive, mate. Can't go wrong with chocolate. Do you know? No. Hobnob's got too much going on.
Chocolate, mate.
I like mine simple. Although actually, so my wife's American, so in my house there's always like double stuffed Oreos because my kids love all of that.
Oh, mint, got to be mint double stuff.
Oh, you know, I've never tried that. That does sound amazing.
Oh, come on, mate, mint double stuff. My auntie used to live in America, and every time she came back over, she's like, "Oh, is there anything you want?" I was like, "Yes." Mrs. Butterworth's syrup, which you can get over here now, and double stuffed mint Oreos. Oh my days! But you can get them over here now as well. That's not drama. But yeah, they're good.
They sound a bit dirty, but I'll give them a go.
They're good. They're really good. Favourite comedian?
Alan Carr.
Oh really? He is good.
He is good. I've got a few of his DVDs, and they're hilarious. To be honest, I do like to just watch comedians. I watch anyone. Trevor Noah, recently, I've been watching a few of his.
Okay.
I mean, we just all need to laugh a little bit more, right? I love it.
100%.
I do like a good stand-up. I've been to a few stand-ups, and they're always good. My wife likes Michael McIntyre, but I think it's because he's so British. I think the American in her just thinks that he's hilarious.
That's a good show. Yeah. Is she quite posh?
What? Is she
quite posh? She's very British.
No. I said she likes him because he's very British. Because she's American, isn't she? So I think that's what it is.
Oh.
But I think she just likes his what she deems very British sense of humour. But yeah, and Alan Carr's a bit too much for her, I think. But.
Right, now we're going to start getting some car questions, but they're quite easy ones.
Okay.
They're still more opinion ones. Ferrari or Lambo?
Ferrari.
Everyone's one or the other. You're a Ferrari man.
Oh, yeah. All day long.
What would you have?
F40.
Oh, good shout. That's
Mate,
probably one of the best.
I think I still remember going to the motor. So my dad was actually quite a car guy. He had some nice cars and he was quite a car guy. And I think it was always a big disappointment to him that I just was never into the cars like he was. But we always used to go to the motor show together when it was on in London, down at Olympia or whatever it was. And I think it must have been when I was a little kid and I saw a F40 there and I was just like, I didn't really understand cars, but that just looked like a car I'd never...
They just still look so good.
I know.
Just the shape of it, just the dynamics of it, just looks so good.
I know. So
still probably the best car I've ever been in. I don't know how I managed to get. I went to when I lived in still my parents' place. We lived in a big village, and we lived in a farmhouse. And I went to go and get something from the bottom garage, and across from the driveway was an F40 just parked in the street.
No.
I was like, what? And our neighbours across the way had like a massive house. We lived in a farmhouse, which was still a massive house, but we didn't have any money because we were running a farm. But all around us was like quite nice houses. And he was just dropping his kid off at a party. So I just went and looked at him. I was like, mate, I said this. He went, yeah, jump inside, mate, have a play. I was just like, really? He went, yeah. And he said, well, I've just got to shoot now. And all the other people came to find out where I was, and he let them sit in it and everything. And he said, do you want to have a quick rev up? I said, do you know what I'd rather? I'd rather you take me out the road for 2 minutes. He went, well, I'm late anyway, go on, jump in. I was like, mega. And he tootled down through the village, got to the dual carriageway and nailed it up the road. And I've never felt so sick in my life. It's like, you know when you've been on too many fairground rides and you get that kind of disorientated. Honestly, he pulled out, he kind of half revved it in first because he said if I boot it in first, it would just rotate and we'd be sat here backwards. So he pulled out in first, got the thing straight, changed to second and just booted it. And you got the turbos right behind your head and this thing just took off. And then because you're lying down quite a lot, all your internal organs are just trying to like come up.
They're all squeezed into your head.
It's honestly, it was, maybe that's why my head's so big. It's that Ferrari F40 ride back in the day. Who would have known? What's the most underrated car you've driven? You probably touched on that already, your Hyundai.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, that probably is one of the most underrated cars I've ever driven. My first car was amazing, a Peugeot 306. I got it as a company car, and that was a car that I think most people didn't really take that much notice of, but that thing I loved. It was just awesome. I did crash it 3 times in the first year because I only learned to drive because I got the job, and I didn't know. And actually, when I went to interview for the job, I lied and said that I could drive, thinking I probably won't get the job. And then I got offered the job, and so I contacted him. I lived in London at the time, and I said, "Oh, look, just let you know, thanks for offering me a job, but I live in London, so I don't really need a car, do I? Like, I'll just get the tube, like, blah, 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 blah." And they're like, "No, like, you have to have a car, like, you have to drive around a lot." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, but only in London." And they were like, no, we'll send you all over the country. So I was like, "Oh, all right, I better learn to drive." So I did, like, an intense course. I failed twice. I passed the third time. And then they gave me this car, and to be honest, I mean, again, I'm not enough of a car guy. I don't remember what the spec of this thing was, but for a first car, it was really quite nippy. And I managed to.
Diesel?
Was it what?
Diesel?
No, it's petrol.
It was a petrol one.
Yeah, it was a petrol one.
The 1.9 diesels and those were pretty pokey.
And I crashed it 3 times in the first year. Nothing too bad, you know. A bollard, a lamppost, and someone's Clio. But other than that, it was all pretty all right.
Oh yeah, other than that, it was all right. Yeah, just smashed all these bits off it. But other than that, it was fine.
Yeah. Other than that, it was good. I did like that car.
Most overrated car? What's the car that everyone just raves over, and you've driven it or been in it, and you just think that's a bit rubbish?
I I would say, what's the most overrated car I've been in? Maybe that BMW CS from Goodwood.
Like, oh really?
Yeah, I didn't. I got to have a go in that and round the track, and then I got to have a drive in it. And for the amount of money more than that was than just shows, I couldn't. Yeah, for me, it felt like you weren't getting the gains that you should have done.
Yeah, and like everyone says that does drive it. If you were to build that spec, the extra parts is more than what it costs. But arguably, the M2 comp is good enough.
Yeah.
And for the money, I'd get a Porsche.
Yeah. That for me was one where I've gone out in a lot of cars with Joe, and a lot of time I get out and I think, I'd love one of those. And I got out of that, and I wasn't thinking I'd buy one of those if I had the money. Like you say, if I had the money, there's plenty of better options.
Yeah, you'd think. Do you know what I mean you could have done the same in something that was like in the standard MT?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like nearly the same.
Yeah.
No, interesting. What is the limit of your mechanicking ability?
I'm pretty good at following a YouTube video. So
teach yourself everything on YouTube,
mate. I tell you, I'd have a crack at pretty much anything, but I would do it blindly and with no idea. I think I have this is why I started a business, because I have a natural belief that everything will be all right, and you have to do that if you start a business. And I think I'd work on a car and I'd drive away, and I just assume everything was going to be all right.
But watch out for that Clio and that Bollard.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I mean, this is not mechanics. But when I was a kid, like I said, my dad used to have some nice cars, and he used to pay me to clean the car, and then he used to go out and drive in it. And what I didn't find out until many years later was he used to then drive it to go and get it cleaned properly, because I used to do such a bad job. So I used to be out there for like an hour and a half, giving it a thorough clean. I'd walk away and I'd be like, job done. And then he'd be like, brilliant, I'm going to take it for a drive now. And he used to literally drive it straight from there and go and get it cleaned properly.
I can't remember who was telling me, but they said that one Saturday his kids were arguing. It's like, right, here's a bucket of water, go and clean my car. And he never checked on them. And they found some Brillo pads under the sink. And they washed his whole car with Brillo pads, and the whole thing was covered in swirls and scratches.
That's brutal. My kids love to clean my car, but it's just to use the pressure washer.
Yeah, safe. Yeah, don't physically touch the car. No. just blast it off. No. Let me find one more question. Favourite James Bond car chase?
Oh wow! Because I do love James Bond movies. Oh mate, can you have a favourite James Bond car chase? That seems.
Of course you can.
I don't know.
I'll tell you my favourite, and he's not even driving a Bond car. It's the Citroen 2CV chase from For Your Eyes Only. Just because I think it's hilarious, and the little sort of like a mariachi kind of music over the top of it. It's just so cheesy, and I just love it. And the 2CV just keeps going and going and going, and he's been chased by those Peugeot 505s, whatever they are, and I just love it. And you can see every corner where they've wetted the road down, because the thing just hasn't got enough power or speed to slide on the dry tarmac. So you can see where they've wetted it down. It does a J-turn about halfway through, and they've wetted it all down.
You can see the cuts where they've had to turn it.
Yes. I just love it. It's just so awesomely 80s and cheesy.
I think this is a bit of a cheat because it's not really a chase, but I absolutely love the scene in Skyfall when they all turn up at the house, and he's got the car all comes to life, and it just my wife had never seen a James Bond movie when we met, right? She'd never, and actually James Bond is very special to me because my dad and I on a Sunday used to do what we used to call bonding Sunday, which is that me and my dad would watch a James Bond movie together, and my mum would go and do the food shop. And my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and so watching a Bond movie is like a real nice memory. But Stephen never watched one, and the first movie I introduced her to was Skyfall, which like sets the high bar because it's so amazing. And I just love that bit at the end in Skyfall when he brings the old car out to drive M out of London, And then it just brought back a lot of memories of watching old movies with my dad. So
yeah, there's a lot of nods to the old Bond. I think the new Bond film that's coming out has got a load of the old Bond cars. So I think it's got the old Aston from Living Daylights. I think it's got the DB5 in it. I think it's got I think there's a bunch of like old Bond cars in it, which sounds like it's been delayed about a year already.
The worst Bond car was the stupid see-through car.
The what?
The see-through car, with the invisible car with Pierce Brosnan. That's when things just started going horribly wrong.
Although the second half of that chase, the bit out on the ice was super cool.
Oh yeah, that was super cool. Just the concept of the thing was like, we've gone just too far.
Yeah, my favourite bit of that was when Matey fired a rocket and he used the ejector seat in the car to flip the car back over. That was super cool.
You got a good memory.
He opened the sunroof and the ice is going by because he's upside down, and he fires the ejector seat, and that's cool. Oh mate, that's super cool. That's also Petrol Ped's favourite. I asked him. He'd done a YouTube live about 3 weeks ago, and I jumped in on his live, and everyone was asking him questions all about cars and what he's driven and what he's up to. So I just thought I'd just throw it out there and just put in best James Bond car chase, and he said that. Then later on, I got bored and noticed there was a hat hanging up in the background. So I said, "Go put that hat on. Go put your gangster hat on." And he went and got.
Did he do it? Like a performing monkey, bless him.
It was like an interactive Petrol Ped video. Oh, was it seafood? Someone thought he said seafood car. Was saying the Vanish. Vanquish. Yeah, Vanquish. Yeah. Mate, we're about to get cut off, so I'm gonna end this here. Mate, absolutely mega chatting to you. If I press the right buttons, I'm going to save this in my Instagram TV thing down below in a minute. And if I get really bored tomorrow, I'll convert it into a YouTube video like I did with the other one, because then it's side by side and I play around with the sound, put some funky titles on it, because that loses me for another day. So I can, I'm just trying to fill up my time. But mate, absolutely mega chatting with you. And I'll catch up with you soon, buddy.
Yeah. See you soon, bud.
Take care. Love you, man.
Love you too. Bye.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.